riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. Here's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire Olaf to my Uta, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, Garrett, my buddy. I have been in California torching some assets for most of the past week. How are you doing? Anything noteworthy?
I thought you were visiting friends.
Yeah, I saw some people. I torched some assets. What do you want from me? How was your week? How are you? Are you good?
Good. No, I mean, it's good, but I can't help but point out, Tim, the rarity with which you ask how I am doing, seemingly coinciding with your need to move off the topic of, what was it? Destroying assets?
I said torching.
Ooh, that's more specific. When you say assets, and I promise this is the last question, and then we can move right along with the show, do you mean physical, financial, evidentiary?
I mean, a little bit of all three.
Okay, all right.
There's a big studio living area filled with contraband and, I mean, incriminating evidence and at least one skeleton.
Oh my God.
Bunch of possums.
You know what? I have
so many possums. They ran screaming. I didn't know a possum could scream. Garrett, possums can scream.
Tim, I can't get a word out. Everything you say is more shocking than the last.
I didn't make them scream, Garrett. The fire and the smoke made them scream.
Fantastic. Tim, normally this is the part of the show where I say, what song or album have we been listening to for an entire week straight? But if I were to ask you that, what would you say?
None. I have been listening to none albums.
That's right. You've been off burning things, apparently, and making possums scream. On the other hand,
say it like that. It sounds suspicious.
It did the first time too. I've been here running the world headquarters, ensuring that everybody stays on task. I'm making sure that our recently released megasode, calling it a megasode. Write it down, Gino. It's a megasode. For Petra, petrified, the very best of Petra. I hope everybody parsed that out, really spaced it out throughout maybe even a week or two. That baby's huge. But that's not what we're doing this week. This week, it's a new year, and the best way to kick off a new year, Tim, is by looking at the last year.
Yes.
We're going to cast ourselves forward into 2023 by aggressively looking backwards into 2022.
Now, why is this happening at the end of January? I know we let Gino make the schedule in Italian, but Diciembre sounds a lot like December. I think we should have figured this out. Is it like a Control F problem?
Tough to say. Tough to say. Well, it's certainly not a Control F problem. These were handwritten schedules.
That's true.
That guy does not know how to use a computer, as evidenced by the production of this show. I don't know. I mean, we both knew we were taking liberties with the schedule by putting it into Gino's terrifically tremored hands. But, it's kind of fun, Tim. And long story short, I don't know what happened. I think it just got booted to the end of the month. We got excited about Petra. That thing ended up being a beast. You went off to California to visit some friends, torch some assets, and I took a few days off myself. So, I think this is just where we land. And if you don't like it, tough teats.
Fair enough.
Instead, Tim, as I said, we are going to be rolling through the best, the worst, the greatest and least of 2022. If you're curious, fair listener, and I know you are, we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. I'm going to kick things off with a letter grade for the year. We're going to decide the Dog Wars winner for 2022. We're going to talk about our least favorite 5 albums, aka the 5 worst from 2022 that we did on this show. Got a few honorable mentions because 5 just ain't enough. Then we're going to go to our least 5 favorite prepisodes of the year. If we've got any honorable mentions, we'll mention them there. And then comes one of my favorite parts of the year in review. What needs a revisit? What are we going to see in 2023 because we enjoyed it so goddamn much in 2022? Next up, we're going to get to one of the most often requested categories here on the show, music you actually liked. I picked stuff that I found in 2022. Didn't necessarily come out then, but I found it then. Most of it did.
I have not done this correctly.
You never do. That's okay. Every year we we go through this. It's fine. Then, boy, Tim, I don't know if you captured some iTunes reviews. I had a problem. They're so fucking ridiculous.
That in the YouTube, I got went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Found some alt-right material.
Interesting. So we're going to do some iTunes reviews. We're going to do some YouTube comments, things we don't frequently feature on the show, but you guys went out there and did it, so we want to feature it here. It's the year in review. Let's get started. Tim, letter grade for the year. Let's hear it. What would you rank 2022?
Solid B on the Bobby Seagow scale, I think. It has been a great year. Can we hit a few of the highlights?
Oh, I invite you to.
Oh, well, Garrett, of course, as you know, we abandoned Austin. We moved to the Big Apple. I made a ton of money liquidating all of our Austin assets, which is completely different from torching California assets. We published 17 scientific papers. We caught Gino handwriting letters to one of our listeners and sharing war stories about a time he was definitely not on our side. You were furious almost the entire year straight. I got rid of Tom B. Rady for approximately 4 months. Unclear where he went, although I did see him milling around downstairs yesterday, so I guess he's back. Unclear what sort of
He looked furious.
sports-related scenario led to that happening, allegedly. I give it a B. Solid B. What about you, friends?
Came in at a C+.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's the Bobby Seagow scale for you.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Let me give you the highlights. That is to say the lowlights. For, 15th year in a row, I did not ascend to leader of the free world. Missed that goal again.
Well, you got closer, though, this year.
Absolutely. If What About Bob taught us anything, it's baby steps. Baby steps on the boat, baby steps to world domination. We still live together, but now it's in New York City, so that's pretty good. Sort of a wash. This show has remained truly unrecognized for its greatness and unique appeal. That is disappointing.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Tell your friends.
Yeah. I was framed for, accused of, and eventually acquitted of 2 different jewelry store robberies in the greater New Hampshire area.
Right, but you did commit both of those. We can say it. The double jeopardy thing. Garrett was uninvolved.
Convincing.
If you have to take someone, take Tom B. Rady.
You leave that boy alone. He's been through a lot lately. And finally, we have in fact lost more interns last year than we did the year before.
Lost a couple of them recently to fire.
Okay, moving on, Tim. This one could be contentious. Dog War winner 2022. I want to hear it. Who do you say? Who wins Dog Wars 2022 for the show?
Well, I'm of course going to pick Yogi. You're of course going to pick Batman. And so, Garrett, that is why I did something special. In November, I sent out ballots to our top 90 listeners. Now, these were ranked, of course, by hours listened on Spotify. So if you, listener, did not receive a paper ballot in the mail, listen to the goddamn show more, you fucking asshole.
Well said.
I also sent it to 10 random Dutchmen.
Oh,
so,
I like their opinions. Okay, good call.
I mean, we take it every week.
Like as a constant.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the envelope here. I had Gino tally it up. And if I may remind you, Batman won by probably 10,000 votes last year.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah, not cool. Anyway, let me open it. Garrett, upset this year. 55 to 43, Yogi over Batman with 1 vote for Gino, 1 vote for Beck for some reason. He does sometimes stay here, but he is a human being. Congratulations, Yogi, the 2022 and a little bit of 2023 Dog of the Year. That vote, of course, was probably influenced by how well Yogi adapted to life in the Big Apple. No one expected him to. And also probably about how he didn't commit or even attempt a single the entire year. Unlike Batman, who has
also, stop using that word on this show.
Has the libido of a testicleless Spaniard, which is still pretty high.
I forgot about that. You know what, Tim? You and I actually came out pretty close on this one. I said Batman on cuteness and Yogi on most improved behavior in untested scenarios.
Really, really true. If you live near the pickleball courts in New York City, come see Yogi on a Saturday morning. I'm sure he'll bite your face off because he's running free.
True
He's
statement.
the one barking at people.
You know, in a fun way.
Yeah. Anyway, most improved, definitely. Apparently, according to these ballots, though, best dog of the year.
Congratulations, Yogi. Me and Batman are nothing but, we're going to be good sports here. Hurts, for sure. questionable results, especially given that Tim and Gino administered and tabulated the voting. But we're going to look past that. We're going to be bigger man and dog and say
I didn't
congratulations.
do this bullshit last year when Batman won.
Right, but I am not a lying asshole.
Seems rude and true.
All right, this thing is humming along, folks. Let's keep the gravy train rolling. Timmy, this brings us to one of the best parts of the year in review. This is where we talk about the worst 5 albums or episodes, depending on how you want to break it down. And I invite either. The worst 5 experiences that you had while talking about an album in 2022. And I thought we might go back and forth if that's okay with you.
Sure. I will say, though, I didn't really do the worst times I had, because most of the ones I have on my list were really fun to talk about. I think probably made for some good episodes. Mm-hmm. These,
I do a mix.
Yeah, I tried to, for as much as possible. These were the albums that stuck out as either bad albums or maybe made by Nazis.
Oh, well, then I know one of yours.
Possibly two. Garrett, why don't you kick us off? What is your number 5? Right.
And mine are kind of in no particular order, not 5 to 1, at least for me. My first one, episode 142, AJR, The Click.
Before you tell us why, may I give you my number 5?
Please do.
Adger, The Click. Episode released January 25th, 2022.
Can we skip to the good part? I mean, that's kind of it. That's sort of my beginning, middle, and end of the thesis. Just fuck it.
Yes. It's like the worst possible version of Vampire Weekend. The lyrics seem like they were written by those BuzzFeed listicle writers. It's mostly an ode to being good boys. It does not represent the Big Apple very well. I remember when the Big Apple was represented by bands like the Velvet Underground. This is not that. Rivers Cuomo, the main wheeze, was on it.
Oh, yeah. And he was a get.
yeah. There's an entire...
I mean, we will still take him.
There's an entire song that is just an ad for Netflix for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
It just sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, it's bad. Excellent. All right, off to a great start, Tim. What is your next album or episode in the top 5?
My next is Moby's Animal Rights, September 20th, 2022. And
before you go any further, Tim, may I give you my next in the list?
Please do.
Number 159, Moby's Animal Rights.
Fair enough. Here's the thing. He refers to himself as a Taoist, Christian, agnostic, quantum mechanic, and somehow this album is a little more pretentious than that.
It's just 2%, but still, that's amazing.
Yes. Now, I have taken the liberty on this album in particular. I went through the lyrics that I had in my notes already, and I composed a small song made up of lyrics from different songs on here that I think
this might be a new bit. I love this idea. We might start doing this at the end of every episode where we just take some stanzas and loop them together to make some new unholy nightmare. I'll start thinking about a name, but what a great idea, Tim. Please give us Moby's Animal Rights in one song.
Let me feel my gift to God grow. I want to break you down slow. I need it, can't stop, you know. I'm gonna let my bubble blow. I know what's in me, I know what goes on in me. Know it's time to stop. I alone forever. I feel it soft in my hands. So soft, so soft. The way you touch me, babe, you know it makes me whole. When you're fucking me, it powers up my soul. I want to break you down and make you come. Did you ever slip inside my ozone? You're gonna get cut.
Wow, that great song. So far, the only name I've come up with is it's time for album in a song. It's a good placeholder. Listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com if you've got a good name for this segment where we try to encapsulate the entire album in one short stanza by combining several songs into one. I want to hear about it. Title it whatever you want. We'll figure it out. Shockingly, Tim, I didn't hear in that album in a song, Make a Dog Style.
It didn't go with the rest of it.
You know what? Good call. If only Moby had the same restraint.
Fair enough. Garrett, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is number 161, Spawn, the movie, the soundtrack.
I had this in an honorable mention.
So, as usual, in a scenario like this, the music is terrible. I went through, I didn't combine, but I went through and I looked at what's on there. And just a reminder, Tim, Korn and the Dust Brothers together.
You know, it's that last part that really, ugh.
Yeah, sends it over the top. Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls with DJ Spooky.
Yes, Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls, but ruined.
And my final argument, the movie.
Yeah, we did beat our good friends over at the Texas Podcast Massacre in that we, for once, picked an album that was maybe not as bad as the movie, but then we still watched the movie. So I want to take this opportunity, once again, in the spirit of renewal, the new 2023, a year where nothing can go wrong, and say, fuck you guys.
Yeah, well said. Tim, I was recently doing a bit of prognostication around 2023, and I'd like to amend your previous statement. If I may, feel free to disagree. 2023, the year in which two things will go wrong.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. That
Stay
gives us a
tuned to
little
find
leeway.
out.
All right.
Shut up.
Wait, does Jeremy Renner count as one of those two things? The
I wish you
mangling
hadn't
of
asked me
Jeremy
that.
Renner. Three things will go wrong this year.
Three things will, effectively two. It was three, now it's two. Fuck off. We wish you well, J. Ren. It seems like what happened to you is truly horrific.
Mangled.
I want to. Oh, God. Technically, what you said is not insulting, but you can't just say mangled.
He was, though.
Okay, that's insulting.
T to B, head to toes, he was mangled.
I want to make so many scarf jokes.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely got his scarf caught in a snowplow, if that's what you're asking.
God, shut up. Anyway, Tim, what's your number three?
My number three was Ace of Bases' The Sign, released October 4th, 2022. Garrett. They were allegedly Nazis, or at least Nazi sympathizers. Yes.
He. Happy nation, living in a happy nation. Creepy.
Let me give you some lyrics here. It's not a song. It's just some lyrics to support a theory that we had. We are united, young and proud. Young and proud. We are marching on the same side of destiny. On the same side of destiny. You'll be living in danger. I see lies in the eyes of a stranger. Whoa.
On the same side of destiny. That's how that song goes. I'm not joking.
Happy nation, living in a happy nation where the people understand and dream of perfect man. Situation leading to sweet salvation for the people, for the good, for mankind, brotherhood. Ideas by man, and only that will last. And over time, we've learned from the past that no man's fit to rule the world alone. A man will die, but not his ideas. That man, Garrett, allegedly Adolf Hitler.
Oh my God.
There was also a fair amount of daddy talk on the album. There was, though, a couple of bright spots. There was a song by Lifetime Achievement Honorary Academy Award winner Diane Warren on this. It kind of helped, I guess, although I don't really like her being linked to alleged Nazis. And I will say, at the end of March, I will be traveling to Gothenburg, Sweden, to investigate Ulf Eberg further. So stay tuned as I report live from Sweden and my accusations.
I have not signed off on this travel.
Oh, I've already got the tickets. Non-refundable. One of us is going to Sweden.
Well, someone's going to Sweden. It's going to be Tom B. Rady.
Oh, God, no.
Good pick, Tim. Yeah, absolutely. Can't disagree. I didn't have it on my list mostly because I found the music to be not that hard to listen to and a really fun episode, but I'm glad you put it on the list.
That's the really sinister part of it. It's fun Nazi stuff.
Yeah, no, that's how you recruit.
Yeah, it's like that Ben, what's his face?
Ben, what's his face?
No, it's like Ben Shapiro. He's really fun. He's nice. He's good at parties. Kind of a Nazi. He just tricks you into it.
That's a bold statement.
Anyway, Garrett, what is your number 2 album, worst album, best album, worst episode of the year 2022?
Did you get that? My next album episode is number 143, Tool, 10,000 Days.
Oh, I have this as an honorable mention too.
Okay, so quite simply, nerd rock, so many musical interludes. There's 11-minute songs. I really didn't enjoy the whole week. And the songs were so sparse and so much time is spent not singing that it really just didn't service our show very well.
Yeah, and it's so pretentious. I feel like we got really into the music on this one. By that I mean criticizing the music on this one. Maynard James Keenan, that guy sucks.
He seems like a nice guy.
Oh, he might be very nice. I mean, his music and also from what I can tell of his personality, he has bought into the fans' belief that he is a very deep intellectual and he puts that all on the record. And
Yeah,
that
that's the problem.
sucks.
It does in fact suck. That's an astute observation. This is the problem. Podcasts have enabled me to like get to know people on a somewhat personal level by listening to them have long conversations. And he seems like an okay dude, but man, I really hated this album.
Yeah.
Like it's really fucking boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, Timmy, what's your number 4?
My number 2?
Either way.
My number 2, Garrett, is Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, this guy, I moved it to honorable mention.
Oh, no, Garrett, he's not a Nazi, allegedly, but according to my rating system, worse than Nazis.
Oh, what? Dirt person? What is that?
Let me read you a tweet from Mr. Kelly here. I wish 13/14/15-year-old girls weren't allowed to be hot, so I wouldn't feel like such a creeper when I look at them. I'm still 19. Hashtag I'm just saying.
Hashtag don't. I mean, it's a real double-edged sword because on the one hand, you're like, hey, guy, I don't want to hear that. But on the other hand, thank you for pointing out that you're attracted to teenage girls.
Yeah.
We should all probably be aware of that. We'll keep an eye out. 13, 14. It's not like he said 17, 18, 19. And
No,
I
Garrett,
still
that would be
don't
his
know
own age. He's not into that.
Well, like, I mean, somebody might argue if I had a 17-year-old daughter and she was dating a 19-year-old guy, I'd be like, nah. It's like if one was in college and one's in high school and they met like that.
Well, sure.
That guy, go date an adult. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She lives
If
at
you're
home.
not in high school, you shouldn't be going to proms.
Perfect. That is the rule. If you are not in high school, you shouldn't be going to proms. Having said that, Tim, we
dear.
have had several listeners ask us to be prom dates for them in a strictly plutonic as a goof scenario. We've said no up to this point, but it is a very funny proposition.
You know what? I'm just going to throw this out there.
Oh boy.
I'll be your prom date.
There it is, folks. Tim will be your prom date. Let Tim be your prom date. Why are you holding this from him? Let him be your date to prom.
You know
Let
what?
me ask you this, Tim.
Hold on. Let me immediately take this back. I'm not going to be. Nope. I'm going to say no.
It's super out there. Let's expand it. Let's expand it. How do you feel about homecoming?
No, I neither. No. Oh my God. No. That's
Sadie
even earlier in the
Hawkins.
year.
What does that have to do with anything?
Even younger, Garrett.
I'm going to need you to move us ahead.
So long story short, I will not be your prom date. I just thought it was funny in the moment, and I say things. Garrett,
Okay, what if they're 18?
No, still no.
It's very funny, though.
It is funny, but I'm not going to do it. Garrett, what is your number 1 worst album of the year? Or just the last one, the one you haven't mentioned yet? Either way.
I actually feel comfortable calling this my number 1. But before I reveal it, I just want to say real quick, that's a soft no by Tim. Inquire, hatePodMail@gmail.com. All right, my number 1, Tim, number 145, Amur, Felony.
Garrett, may I tell you what my number 1 is?
Yes!
Yeah, we
simultaneous
are
one.
in sync. Yeah, Garrett, this is amazing, listener. It's
never happened.
You very rarely get to experience this with us, and I just want to take this moment to say that Garrett and I, we went back and forth. He gave a little, I gave a little. We just kind of, it was like a dance, and then simultaneously, we got there together right at the same moment.
Yep, number 1.
Well, me a little bit after you, but that's how it always happens.
Yeah, I'm wrapping up and you're getting going.
Yes.
We might have taken this bit too far.
I disagree.
I have mouth sweats.
So you hate Amur too.
Yeah, this is some of the worst music we had to listen to this year, but it was a lot of fun.
Yes. But on the other hand, we had to listen to this for 2 full weeks because we couldn't do it in one.
That's right. This guy was a big fan of Columbine, All the Wrong Messages from American History X, and for some reason, the film Kids by Harmony Korine.
Oh, yeah, he did sympathize with a fictional rapist.
Yeah,
Say that
thought he
word
was a cast.
lot.
Yeah, you really say that word a lot. Now that we've pointed it out, that I'd ask you not to. Listen, if you have to, just say he humbled them.
Oh,
it's biblical. It sounds wrong, but it is God's word.
Yep, that's fair.
I hated this. I did not like, we couldn't tell what he was saying. Every song faded out like it was a Whitney Houston ballad.
Yeah, and what we could tell that he was saying, it was mostly bitching about getting arrested for an assault he definitely committed started, bitching about being accused of plagiarism by all those people that noticed the plagiarism. A lot of venom directed at one very specific seeming lady that didn't want to have sex with him.
Yeah, none of this is going to win me over.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Wow. All right. Good stuff. We really kind of need like a closing statement, maybe at the end of the honorable mentions, something akin to a Shia LaBeouf or a, what is yours?
The face.
Le Face. Yes, that's right. Welcome to La Face. Would you like a face? As you can see, I'm badly in need of a face. Oh, Tim, did you and I talk about, I don't think we talked about this. Scuttlebutt on the Net, Face Off 2 with Travolta and Cage is a go.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Listeners, write in, hatePodMail@gmail.com. If you know anything about this or are some way connected to this, you need to reach out immediately because you got a couple of 1-2 super interested guys here.
But and I don't want to spoil anything, if you haven't seen the movie Face Off, go ahead and hit that fast forward 30 seconds button. Didn't Nicolas Cage die at the end of that? And then John Travolta.
I have two answers.
John Travolta adopted his son so that he could abuse him in revenge.
A face waterfall is not technically abuse, but it should be.
Well, no, I just assumed that he adopted him so that he could
revenge.
Yeah, do unto the cage what the cage has done unto him.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get too down this rabbit hole, but if you really wanted to make it cool, you could do like what the Joker did with that one Jason Todd Robin, where he tried to like break him and turn him against Batman and make him into like a baby Joker or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe the villain is the face surgeon, and so she has taken the face and put it on to somebody else.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. I have two answers. One, you just put that Nick Cage face on somebody else, no longer Castor Troy. Maybe they put it on Pollux. Hey, brother.
Oh, I like that.
Or he's not dead. Fuck off. I thought he was dead. Not exactly, Sean.
Yeah, it is handled very easily with a single line.
You haven't found the body yet? What are you doing, Travolta? I love it. Anyway, all right, Timmy, that brings us to honorable mentions on the albums. Usually, I think we just each roll through our few quickly rather than the trade-off. You good with that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool. You want to go first? You want me to?
I'll go first since you already grabbed two of mine, I think. I had Spawn the Movie, the soundtrack, Tool 10,000 Days, Bush's Razor Blade Suitcase, and Coldplay's Parachutes. And for the most part, the honorable mentions are just here because those are just boring albums. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. My honorable mentions, a couple of repeats for you. Coldplay, Parachutes, no memory of this whatsoever.
Yeah.
All my notes say that I could glean was, it just says, being Batman, in parentheses, not the dog. What? Okay.
Shotgun Batman, perhaps?
No, I probably would have put Shotgun Batman. That's a known entity in this world.
Maybe you were messing around with my grappling hook?
Oh, probably. I do that a lot when you're not around.
Yeah, no, I know. Because one time you shot one of our interns in the liver with it. I had to take him to the hospital and explain why he had a grappling hook lodged 6 inches into his abdomen. The problem is it's like a fish hook, right? But even more so.
More so.
Really, the only way to fix it is to push it out the other side.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
It's horrible.
It's the only way through. Okay, continuing on. My next is Bush Razor Blade Suitcase, simply summarized with your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you feel the way you hate? Do you hate the way you feel? Fuck them. Number 148, TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool. And this one, Tim, this is on, well, let me explain. It was just simply too much. Because we did No Scrubs.
I gotta counter this. I'm gonna say it was not enough TLC.
My goodness. We pissed a lot of people off.
I mean, that happens from time to time.
Yeah. I went back and looked at the comments and people were just like, more TLC? Because we did the single, then we did the album, but we did the album so much that it was 2 hours long. So it was 3 weeks of TLC.
I'm going to say this. Listener, you should be very happy that I was not the one that got the more TLC comments because we would have done more TLC.
Yeah, Tim's kind of a prick that way. I mean, we'll probably do more TLC, but probably not multiple weeks in a row.
Probably.
No promises. My next is Incubus, Make Yourself. I do not recall anything about this.
Yeah. It was...
And then my last one, Machine Gun Kelly, Tickets to My Downfall.
Ugh,
Just barely.
I don't know how
barely
that's not
missed
in
it.
there.
See, I think where you and I differ is Spawn, the album, the soundtrack.
No, that's fair.
All right, Timmy, that brings us to our 5 worst singles. Do we rattle them off or do we go back and forth?
We can go back and forth, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I have to be upfront here. I had to stretch a bit for the worst singles this year because most of the songs we talked about, to me, weren't really as bad as in previous years. I remember there were a lot of not hates, especially on the PP-sodes. There were still a few of what Garrett describes as quote-unquote stinkers. But
yep, that's what I say.
yeah,
A couple
but
stinkers.
most of these, like, just eh.
Okay, kick us off, Timmy. Who's your first?
The first, or really the fifth, is Santana featuring Rob Thomas, Smooth.
Oh, yeah, that was my first one as well.
Yeah,
or fifth
well-
one, depending on which end you're looking at.
Yeah, well, we did this February 1st, 2022. It is still stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's my opening gambit as well.
Yeah. The other problem I have with this, and it's sort of a problem in retrospect, is since this song, or since we did this episode, we moved to the Big Apple, not too far away from Spanish Harlem. I don't think the video is a particularly honest depiction of that neighborhood. It makes
It's the 90s.
the whole thing look like a Coke ad designed for like the international audience. And granted, it is sexy. It is a hot one.
Yeah.
People, I don't want to say they were less friendly because that's not entirely true.
Some were very friendly.
They were more aggressive, and
In every way you can mean aggressive.
yes.
Yeah, well put. You're on notice, Thomas. Misrepresenting Spanish Harlem.
Oh yeah, fuck you, Santan Man and Bobby T.
Now, Tim, at the same time, I'm curious, do we need more Santana and Rob Thomas in our lives? Together, separate? I say no Santana on his own. Might be too much music, not enough lyrics.
Quite possibly. Yeah,
I know
definitely Rob
Santana
Thomas.
expert. Yeah, now let's get back to Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas plus Santana, because they did that again. It didn't work. Nobody wanted it, but they
Really?
did it again.
I don't remember this.
Of course you don't, because nobody wanted it. Yeah, it was like 3 years ago.
Oh, well, I did the history. I'm sure I hit it, but who could care?
Well, we will when we do it.
Fair enough. Garrett, what is your number 4?
Before we move on, Tim, there is one thing I noted about the Rob Thomas Santana episode that I thought was worth mentioning. That was the last time we did our very rare but ongoing segment, Bang Bros, where you and I just get into the ins and outs, break it down on how we feel about bangs.
I'm sorry?
Remember Rob Thomas had incredibly
yes, he
aggressive
looked like
bangs?
General Zod. I remember.
Right,
I
and then we
don't
had-
think I signed off on calling it Bang Bros.
Oh, well, it's a pretty catchy name.
How about Bangs Bro? Bangs Bros.
You're right. It should be Bangs Bros. Well done.
Because otherwise, I'm just saying it sounds like we are filming one another
You think?
for an internet website.
I guess it's just how you read it. All right, no, note taken. We'll call it Bangs Bros. Maybe it's just Bangs Bro.
No, because we're two bros.
Right, but it's kind of like, check out those bangs, bro.
Oh, I like it. So if it's, how about this? Open quotation marks, ... bangs, bro, close quotation marks is what we'll call the segment.
I feel like you've taken my bad idea and now it's fucking a guy. You've made it fucking a guy. We're not going to call it that. Also, what title has ever begun with an ellipses?
Well, that's the thing. It makes you interested because what were they talking about?
Absolutely not. Anyway, my next episode is Prepisode number 70, Trace Atkins, honky tonk, but donka-donk.
Oh, I could not disagree more, Garrett. I want more of this man in my life. He's sexually threatening. He makes me uncomfortable. He makes women at the bar uncomfortable. He does not wear sleeves. He's been shot through his heart and both of his lungs.
Yeah.
I need to know everything about this man.
I did write down, despite the complete surrender of all of his dignity, he does have leather bracelets and may or may not be invincible, but is at least tractor proof.
Yes.
He cannot be tractored to death.
Right. Yeah, no, because, okay, here's the thing. I'll jump ahead. I actually put this song in the songs I didn't hate or want to hear more of category.
That's why this works.
It's because here's my thing. Is he unkillable?
I mean, that's the question, right?
Right,
Had Jeremy Renner been safely ensconced inside a Trace Adkins suit, that snowmobile would just come to an immediate stop.
I like how in bad taste that is, and I'm right here with you. I have dispatched 3 of our interns to find out, is Trace Adkins unkillable? I'm going to suggest some sort of snowmobile attack.
I'm going to guess they're not going there armed with a survey.
Well, they will be surveying other people, because I'm sure that other people have shot him.
That's true. Maybe it's just, I'm curious if it's a fact-finding mission or if they are going to actively try to kill Trace Adkins.
That's technically a fact-finding mission.
Asked and answered.
Rack number 4.
Tim, what's your next single for worst episodes of the year?
This one was bittersweet. I picked Crazy Town's Butterfly.
Yeah, me too.
The song sucks. The music video, though, a man fires tattoos from his shoulders into the air.
Yeah, it does.
Now, they did do a lot of like close-up video of them kissing, which I didn't care for, but those fucking shoulder tattoos, Garrett. Fantastic.
Yeah. However, it also reminded me of high school, which is a part of my life I'd like to forget actively. So that part's not great.
Fair.
And that music video couldn't have made less sense. Was that the one with like the pixies that wake up in the field?
Yeah, it was a really good music video. Everything was
sexy
out of
in all the
focus.
wrong ways.
I would think it's sexy in all the right ways. Fierce nipple pierce, you got me sprung with your tongue ring. Girl, it's me and you like Sid and Nancy.
Like Sid
Those aren't
and Nancy.
contiguous lines, but they're bad. It's not a good
But they're in
song.
there.
Yep, Garrett. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is episode number 78, Imagine Dragons, Cutthroat.
Ooh, that's a good one. I had that on my honorable mention list.
I did enjoy talking about and learning about ecclesiastical endorsements. That was a new word for me.
That was a long segment.
Yeah. Also in that episode, you mentioned that you were actively pursuing spider powers.
Yes.
Care to update us on that?
More spider bites, no powers.
Remain covered in bites and completely power-free.
Yes. Also, I think I might be suffering from radiation poisoning. The spiders certainly are.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's not affecting their bite strength, though.
I think it is, but I think you've also been significantly weakened, so it seems worse.
That makes sense.
You're dying at the same rate.
Right.
Tim, what is your next episode for worst episodes of the year?
Next song, I guess is how we're going to say it, not your thing, is Stabbing Westward, Save Yourself.
Oh, not even on my honorable mention.
Well, of course it wasn't, Garrett, because this was a band created entirely and retroactively inserted onto the internet by you.
It was quite an undertaking, but I'd say I did it fairly seamlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people think this was made years ago. This is just overly edgelordy nu metal, just singing about soul pain and leading angels or something.
I can't even save myself.
We do get a "fucked as you" whispered.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. But he also says things like, my life has been a nightmare. My soul is fractured to the bone. And if I must be lonely, I think I'd rather be alone.
Oh my God, you're bringing it all back.
I know that you've been damaged. I think you're doing corn there, actually. I know you've been damaged.
Nope.
Your soul has suffered such abuse, but I am not your savior. I am just as fucked as you. I am just as fucked as you. Fuck me. It's bad. It's real bad.
It's
Garrett,
not. That part's not in there.
It is, sort of, partially. What's your next one, Garrett?
My last one is for episode number 74, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Young girl, get out of my mind. Yeah, it's a really enjoyable episode. One of my favorites of the year. However, much like you could not turn a blind eye to the rampant Nazism, allegedly, of certain bands last year, these are some of the most disturbing lyrics that we've ever discussed, and there's zero interpreting anything. It's just reading words on the page about this guy's obsession with a young girl and his soon-to-be overcome ability to resist her.
Yes. He is not yet able to resist her, but he predicts that he will. He will somehow summon the strength.
Provided he doesn't see her.
Oh, sure. Yeah, she has to be far, far away.
Yeah,
Perhaps
I loved the episode, and it was a really fun one to listen to. I like the song even.
Yes.
But my God, dude.
Yeah, it's about you remember the movie An American Werewolf in Paris, the classic film that we watched a few years ago?
I do. The Julie Bowen vehicle.
Right. This guy is like the molesty version of that, right? He's a child sex werewolf who must be locked up at night for his own good and, more importantly, for the well-being of the children.
God, that movie is a mess. Timmy, what's your last song from our episodes of 2022?
I'm not sure exactly what happened here because I have two left. Travie McCoy featuring Bruno Mars, Billionaire, simply because I really just hate the sentiment. And
oh yeah, that's right.
And the other thing is, this was the episode where I had to admit to you that I had gambled Brad away to Cam Hubbard, Brad's new owner. Sorry, Brad. And Cam, honestly, write in, let us know how Brad is doing. Is he speaking again? Because he was nonverbal for a while.
Is he using a food dish, or does he still like hurl it all over the floor?
He's definitely doing that. And my last one, Garrett, my most disliked song, Joan Osborne's One of Us.
Yeah, that was in my runners-up.
Yeah, it sucks. It's absolutely unrelenting in its quasi-spiritual horseshit. There's a CBS show, Garrett. When we were trying to get on CBS, I took a look at the CBS lineup to see what our competition was going to be, and at the time there was a show called God Friended Me. It's about this guy, Miles Finer. He's an outspoken atheist whose life is turned upside down when he receives a friend request on social media from God and unwittingly becomes an agent of change in the lives and destinies of others around him. That's what this song is. Also, fun note, why don't we change the whole format of the show and just watch that show and talk about it?
I assume it's been canceled.
Oh yeah, this was like 2018. I think it made it 2 seasons though. Maybe just 1 season.
2 sounds wrong. Maybe it spanned a new year.
Maybe.
Oof. Good stuff, Timmy. I'm going to give you a couple of things in my honorable mentions, aka runners up. Really, these are just things I wanted to mention as, let's see. One is for episode 73, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart. 2 things. One, we need to bring back knuckleless gloves.
Oh, yeah.
We got the tips, but there's no knucks. And this song sounds a lot like Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes.
It sure does.
And then the other one that I didn't put in my top 5 for least enjoyable songs of the prepisodes of 2022 was A Little Piece of Heaven, because gross.
Yeah, I had that in my honorable mentions as well. Fun music video, though. I enjoyed the animation style.
Yeah. I mean, that song, if it isn't about what it's about, it's impressive.
I think it's impressive that it is about what it's about.
Kind of, but not in an appreciable way.
Fair enough.
Like saying, my, what a huge crater that bomb created.
Yeah.
It's impressive, but you're not pleased.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
All right, Timmy, let's get on to it. Next up on the docket, what should we revisit in 2023? I'll go first.
Okay.
Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You. We need more Bryan Adams.
I agree.
I would like to recommend Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman from the Don Juan DeMarco soundtrack, or even Summer of '69.
Why don't we just do a full album?
God damn it. 2023, Gino. It's going to be the year. I can feel it in my loins. Tim, what do you think we need to revisit?
I think we should do a little more Neil Diamond. And here's how we do it. To really get ourselves pumped up, we head down to Broadway and we go to the Neil Diamond show.
Yes.
Okay.
100% on board.
All right.
We are in sync in 2023.
Fair enough. Any others that you would like to revisit?
Next for me, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Let's Face It, and that's a bit of a misnomer. It shouldn't be the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but more ska in 2023 is a must.
I agree totally with the more ska. I think we need to do more ska, more country, and more raps.
I mean, we did a lot of raps, didn't we?
Yeah, but
I think we got trapped in the trap scene.
Yes, and the SoundCloud stuff. But I honestly, I think as long as we don't do multiple episodes of like SoundCloud rapists, we could do one.
Yeah.
And we're going to do one. We'll get to the listener mail.
Oh, alrighty. What else do we need to revisit, Tim?
Of course, Trace Adkins, speaking of the country. I need
Completely
more
agree.
Trace Adkins. The other thing I would kind of like to re-listen to, and it's not from this year, but I would like to do more My Chemical romance, because I recently, on a long run, decided to give The Black Parade another listen. We kind of enjoyed it.
We were off.
Yeah. I still think, so the problem with that episode is it's not what it's about, and it's not a great concept album, but musically and everything, it's kind of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We'll do that one again.
Call.
Any others?
A Redux?
Maybe. We should also do more like 90s punk, like another NoFX, or maybe like
MXPX, Pennywise.
Honestly, Bad Religion I might enjoy.
Yeah.
Like Pennywise, maybe. I feel like Pennywise is a little too down in the mix, maybe, but the way to say it, like it's.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Too muddled.
Yeah, but who knows? We should give that another try along with the ska.
Fair.
Any others for you?
Let's see. Other ones I've got, Billy Joel. He's got albums from the late 70s and early 80s that at one point in my life I really liked, but haven't listened to in quite some time. So it might be hard to hate, but impossible to like.
Because you remember what a terrible little boy you were.
No, you idiot, because the songs aren't very good.
Oh, fair enough.
Like New York State of Mind and shit like that. Like they're good, but they're weird.
Yes. And we should replace New York with Big Apple.
Anyway, Bare Naked Ladies. That's it.
Yeah, maybe.
Too easy? Often when we go for the big hitters like that, we strike out. Like the ones that seem obvious are the ones that are the least fun.
Yeah, we should do another boy band. Maybe like a 98 Degrees. I don't think we've hit 98 Degrees.
People always want us to do BTS, but they're Korean, right?
Well, they sing in English, but I feel like their fans might literally murder us.
Yeah, that's a great call. It's
the same reason we'll never do Taylor Swift. I don't like letter bombs.
Yeah, that's a good call. We have had the T-Swift rule in effect for quite some time. Yeah, 98 Degrees. We've done NSYNC. We did Backstreet. We haven't done JT a solo, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, like Man of the Woods.
That's been requested a lot of times, actually.
Yeah, that'd probably be a pretty easy one to do. All right, couple more here. Toadies. We should definitely do more like this, where we have to face our demons, kill our darlings, and address the weird music we like.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, we may just want to do Burden Brothers.
Yeah, I think we should go
further afield.
Yeah.
Beck's been on the table for some time.
Yeah.
And then finally, Tim, my last suggestion we didn't even listen to in 2022. It's a holdover from 2021, but I wanted to make sure that we got it on the list. This one, you're going to get excited. We need to do the band live Throwing Copper.
Yes.
How they have escaped us, I do not know. Now, arguably...
we did that Dolphins Cry.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's more important to address the way you're bathed in light. Yeah, that's, wow. Anyway, so that's the end of my what we need to revisit. Moving on down in the 2022 year in review. Music you actually liked in 2022. It could either have come out then or you found it then. Either one. Your list is going to be shorter than mine, so why don't you go first, Tim?
Well, I only put down a single person because I kind of misunderstood the assignment. And I think actually this might have come out in 2021, but it was super late in 2021. This is Cedric Burnside, grandson of the late, great R.L. Burnside. He came out with an album, I Be Trying, and it is excellent if you like blues.
Sure.
If you don't, also maybe listen because, again, it is excellent.
That's exactly what the assignment was.
Oh, okay. Well, then I only wrote down one.
Arguably more. But in the past several years, you've just said, I have nothing, and we move on. Let's roll through my list. It's lengthy. Tim, have you heard Marcus King?
Yes.
Yeah, he's all right. Sort of a Southern rock thing going on. My buddy Caleb Landry Jones released Gadzooks Volume 2. That's a second year in a row recommendation if you're into that sort of thing. He's a super weird guy, so you might hate it, and that's fine. Have you heard John J. Presley, Tim?
I have not.
It's a classic two-piece with big guitar. Don't love the guy's voice. It's not bad. It's just not my preference. It's real deep and gravelly, but he plays with like C6 Steve and the Smoke Fairies. You would enjoy John J. Presley, I think, quite a bit.
All right. I will give it a try. Maybe that will be my 2023 pick.
Phoenix had a new album this year, or in 2022. It's not bad. The band Pup, specifically the album The Unraveling of Pup the Band, which I specify because I'm pretty sure it's not like their other albums. So if you know Pup or you don't, I'm recommending that album. Piglet. Have you heard Piglet, Tim?
I have not.
He's a Irish singer-songwriter by way of Southern England, I believe. Sort of an Elliott Smith with a dash of Neutral Milk Hotel, Air, and the Beta Band.
What's his name again?
Piglet.
Piglet.
Oh, Piglet. Oh.
This is a very weird recommendation that I'm very interested in. Is there an album?
Now there's the EP you're looking for is an EP called 7 Songs. On it you will find 7 songs.
Cool.
But there is another band called Piglet. I'm not talking about that one. There's a good chance this is one of those times where you're going to come back to me in a day and be like, I fucking hate this. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I found Piglet 7 Songs.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
All right.
But there's also, I put it at 50-50. Next up, The Rare Occasions. They had a 2021 album come out that was pretty good. Spoon, Lucifer on the Sofa. Is that what that was called?
Oh, I have not heard that yet. I completely ignored it. It was really early this year, was it not?
Yeah, January, February, something like that. Jack White had 2 albums come out. Fear the Dawn, which was pretty weird, and Entering Heaven Alive, which I prefer.
I prefer it too. I don't love either, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think in some ways the music is really good on the second album, but the lyrics are just lacking.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the first album's just loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Too loud, Jack.
I mean,
turn it down.
It's a step in the right direction. We can say that.
Yeah, oh yeah. After the navel-gazing diarrhea pile known as Boarding House Reach. I own like 3 copies of that album on vinyl. Thanks, Jack.
Well, you had like 17 CD copies. I think I posted a picture of it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, how did that happen?
I don't know. I think you bought concert tickets and they just kept giving them to you.
That is what happened. Okay, let me finish up this list. The band Wet Leg, the full album came out after I recommended the single Chaise Lounge. Kurt Vile, Watch My Moves, new album in 2022. I liked that one quite a bit. Kevin Morby, This Is a Photograph Alternative is the name of the album. Tim, I'll say it again for you. You would enjoy this quite a bit. Kevin Morby, This Is a Photograph Alternative.
I have older Kevin Morby stuff.
Yeah, you'll like this one.
All right.
Black Keys, Dropout Boogie wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't great, though.
Yeah, alrighty. That brings us to the iTunes reviews. That very magical place that not enough of you visit on a regular basis. Folks, let's just take a second and say it. If you've not given us the 5 stars and you have any device on which you could do that, please go do that. That's all we ask. If you got a little more time, you could get clever, cute, or just downright insulting down in those comments. We're going to read several of them here now because they're absolutely insane. But if you want to help the show, that's all we ask for. Just 5 stars. Okay, Tim, I'm going to let you kick things off. What is the first iTunes review you'd like to review?
My first one is by Poo Poo Potato from December 5th, 2022. It's called The Podcast is Better Than This Review. This podcast is to your ears what anal beads are to your butt. Once it's in there, you don't want to take it out. Yet you have to take it out because you will eventually become backed up with crap, and that's a hazard to your health. However, once it's out, you immediately notice the stench of what you've done. It didn't smell before, so you just put it back in, which is what you wanted all along. I hope this was helpful. 5 out of 5 stars.
Jesus Christ. Thanks, Poo Poo Potato. I'm also, while you were reading that, I was pulling up my reviews. I copied several from 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna have to wait a year. They're very funny, though.
Yeah.
One's by a guy that just says soup, 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 soup.
That's okay. Well, that's the second soup one because I have a different soup one.
Oh, weird.
Okay.
Good job, soup. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, my first one, Tim, was actually the one you read. So my next one is by Boethus of Sidon. 5 stars, September 2022. Preparation for a Great Conflagration.
I like it.
Is the title. Today I was introduced to Save Yourself, written by the late Gareth Barvey and released posthumously in 2022. This is an enchanting song. No, I can't read. This is an enchanting song. I play... I'm so stupid. This is an enchanting song. I plan to listen to it in perpetuity in preparation for the coming ekpyrosis, as next year it is to be a great year.
Oh, that's one of the things that will probably go wrong this year. One of the two. Ekpyrosis.
God, I still don't know what that means. He goes on, as I am engulfed in the cleansing fires of the cosmos, my ears will be soothed by stabbing westward. Through palingenesis, this song will provide comfort until I am returned to my rightful seat.
Oh.
5 stars.
Boethus of Sidon. Boethus.
Who's to say?
Boethus, you must be a Tim head.
Yeah,
Those are the
no
things I
shit.
say.
I don't even know what those words are. What else you got, Timmy?
Okay, this is by Heshava.
Nailed it.
Called That's Whoa That's from May 23rd, 2022. Humor y'all, this podcast, that's humor y'all. Daddy G Harves and Papa Timmy Tits with a Z have been delivering quality reviews for years, and if they stop, I'll burn it all down. Yes, sir, the New World Order with the Lord Lacostier Garrett P. Hardy's is humanity's only hope of salvation. I want this podcast injected into my femoral artery on the daily. I need it. Bye. 5 out of 5 stars. I think that was like supposed to be some sort of orgasm sound.
Oh, I thought it was like a Zedler.
Oh, maybe.
I think they were more injecting us into their veins, and it was creating a euphoric orgasmic feeling.
In both of our defenses, the Zedler is also the Zedler orgasm sound.
I mean, I would imagine.
Garrett, what other reviews do you have for us this day?
My next one is from Scooter and the Beef 99 from September. Title is That's Humor, Y'all. And this is vaguely complimentary, and while I do thank you, Scooter and the Beef 99, we don't try to read stuff where people are just complimenting us. I particularly call this out because 85% of it's just really funny, and then 15% is compliments. So just know, listeners, it makes Tim and I very uncomfortable. That's humor, y'all. I'm always looking forward to an episode from these guys, whether they have something to say about the actual music itself or just use it as an excuse to ramble about any of the following: cowboy cults, candle-based serial killers, world domination, the ethics of the supernatural, rigid airships, Garrett's mysterious job, whatever other nonsense comes to mind. Garrett's no-nonsense bluntness combined with Tim's all-nonsense looseness creates some of the funniest improvised conversations in the history of podcasting. Thank you. Not true, but thank you. I do like Tim's all-nonsense looseness.
Yes, I am very loose and nonsense-filled.
True, it's just spilling out of you. Gino's editing work creates the best comedic timing this side of UCB, and whatever Brad does, he does it really well. And don't get me started on Tom. Few people are as suspiciously similar to famous NFL stars as Tom B. Rady. 5 stars, Scooter and the Beef 99, good stuff. They get it. You get it, Scoot.
Ooh, I have one from somebody that also gets it. This is from Cisco 707 from April 24th, 2022. It's called Why I Hate This Podcast. These two single-handedly offended every Filipino by insulting and making fun of a custom that my parents and grandparents, and I'm sure the ones before them, did. Do your research about different cultures before you open your mouths about something. 1 out of 5 stars. Cisco 707, if you're listening, love the review. Solid, probably very true. Here's the thing. I don't know what that's referring to at all. Like, I don't know what episode that is. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I insulted every Filipino. I aim to, but.
Ooh. That came out of nowhere.
I don't aim to.
It just happens quite frequently.
Yes. It seems as though I'm aiming to. The point is...
That's the point.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's too vague and too numerous for you to possibly account for.
Yes.
Now, Tim, my next review is titled, well, first it's from Let Me Use This, April 18th, 2022. Title is, Wow, These D-bags are critical, ? Let Me Use This writes, if these are my friends, I would walk in front of a train. Let me use this. Ending, it's never the answer. If you don't like your friends, don't walk in front of a train. Get on that train and take it to new friends.
Yes, or get on that train and run your friends over with the train.
Brilliant, Tim. Brilliant. Hard to run people over with a train. Different conversation, though. 1 star. Tim, what else you got?
This is by Wardster25. It says, the guys are very funny and have great chemistry. The subject matter is so interesting. I love the band background info at the start of each show. The only thing keeping it from 5 stars is the slip-ups of the lyrics. Example, every coward sings a sad, sad song. A little more, and then there's the head in my hand emoji. A little more research will make this the perfect show for music lovers. 4 out of 5 stars.
That's beautiful. Bless him. God bless him.
Everyone go back and listen to that episode. Garrett did a thing that was very funny. Yeah, and I hate telling Garrett that. Yeah. What else you got, friend?
My next one's from JM Durrett. Probably Durrett. From May of 2022. And I'm going to be honest, Tim, I didn't read past the first sentence because it made me laugh so hard. I was like, ooh, let's do this together. Titled Ladies, ...
Already in.
So I suppose, ladies, find a man to look at you the way Tim looks at Garrett. Yes, I found the feed. I'm only listening until they finally review review Throwing Copper. Y'all talk a good game, cowmen, but if the homeless drugs fundraiser gets off the ground, I want to auction off Corey Feldman to the remaining members of TLC. What? I'm only listening until they finally review Throwing Copper. Y'all talk a good game, cowmen, but if the homeless drug fundraiser gets off the ground, I want to auction off Corey Feldman to the remaining members of TLC. I assume that's a reference to something in the show.
Probably. I also want to mention here, you said cowmen. We as cowboys are undergoing some image adjustments, and
About time.
so I'll just throw this out there. Feel free to write in if you like this. We were thinking about going with cowmen and then having a second tier, sort of like a pledge class, and calling them beef boys.
I love it.
Oh, all right.
What do you do about cow women?
Oh, Garrett, this is a men's only organization.
Yikes. The review continues. I tried to make friend Tanner listen, but the Mormons still have a pretty tight hold on his media consumption. Or maybe Elon Musk does, unless they're in it together. Hey, do Mormons get Rumspringa? What? How come the Amish get all the good PR? Tim, some of my shoes still have price tags from Payless, but wouldn't the Lord have appreciated their buy one, get one free model? What will happen to Ed Kozwowski in the Rapture? Oh, don't go to Mexican hospitals. They say they know what they're doing, but then 2 weeks later, you're in a shady surgical center in New Jersey that loses power while your hand's getting cut open. Okay. By the way, Tim, have you seen Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown? It's hella dark, and I think it would be your movie spirit animal. 5 stars, J.M. Durrett. I don't know what's going on in there. I love it. Especially, wouldn't the Lord have appreciated he technically writes, wouldn't the Lord have appreciated their BOGO model? Very funny. Great review, but I can't necessarily speak to any of that, aside from the fact that we will be doing Throwing Copper fairly soon. Does that mean you're going to stop listening, J.M. Durrett? Please don't. Tim, what else you got?
Last one for me here. This is called Rivers Had It Coming by Ja Should. He says, or she, people can be romantic, either naturally or with choice and practice. It's maddening when somebody says, that's just who I am. Often, it's to justify some characteristic that's less than desirable. As the man telling the story, people can and do change. This was a very warm and inspiring story. Since it is told with a man's voice, yes, that gender would enjoy it too, and be better for it. 5 out of 5 stars, but I think this is possibly written by AI.
Yeah, I can't. I couldn't piece that together.
Ja Should, if this is your brain, you are currently having a stroke.
Technically, several very tiny ones.
Or one big one.
I'm going to go with microstrokes.
Okay.
Microstrokes for the win, Gino. My last one, Tim, is from LJG6811 from March. It's titled A Triple Plus Good Times. LJG6811 writes, I don't know how I found this podcast. I just woke up one day and it was on my phone. Did Tim and or Garrett drug me? Well, boys, your scheme worked because I am hooked. Please make 1 million more episodes.
I can actually explain exactly what happened. We have instructed our listeners for years to just begin subscribing on other people's phones. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, we like to call it sowing the earth. We're just planting that podcast on millions of devices around the world and hoping to harvest listeners down the road.
Yes.
In worst case scenario, we just have you automatically download it and you never notice until your phone runs out of memory and one day you realize you got hours upon hours of 2 strangers talking about nonsense.
Yep, and that's when you start listening.
That brings us to YouTube comments, and boy, howdy, this is a cesspool. I think that I'm going to ask that, Tim, you run through a few, take a pause, I'll run through a few, see if you have any more, and we'll call it quits.
Okay, I'm going to start off with one that is very complimentary to you and also does not understand what you're doing. This is from John Perrick on G.G. Allen. This was fantastic. Man, heaps of research done, and you did it well. G.G. Allen is to me what punk rock represents, and that's hardcore violent music and concerts that the so-called punk bands today lack. G.G. Allen was punk all the time, offstage and on. G.G. was the very epitome of punk rock.
Well, we arrived at different conclusions, but I'm glad he enjoyed it.
Yes. This is by Todd Fryman on the Bloodhound Gang episode. Loved the album, and after listening to the feminine sounding voices of the podcasters had, I knew why they would hate it.
Feminine. Okay. Listeners, write in. hatePodMail@gmail.com. I could use a lot of insulting words to describe my voice, or Tim's, especially Tim's, but feminine probably wouldn't have come across. Do we have feminine voices?
I think I do, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I have very
What else you
dainty,
got?
almost feminine wrists as well.
And ankles.
No, that was a shattered ankle. That is due to...
Because it was so dainty.
God damn it. This is by Jessica Stedel on Tool. I think heaven would be a drag in the opposite way if the dead stayed the age they were when they died. Instead of being full of old people, it would be overflowing with children. Jesus, this is dark. Half of the people who have ever lived died as children, or so I've heard.
And filled with facts.
Yes. Let's see. Here's one from Preston on the Bare Naked Ladies episode. We got some expanded lore for the in-show universe and probably real continuity. This is exciting. In your classic 2019 Toby Keith Shock and Y'all episode, Tim mentions the Long Island iced teas from C&A's that were $1 on Sundays, and how you could always tell when somebody took advantage of that deal because you'd see a carpet burn on their forehead when their jackass friend tripped them. Can't believe we got a follow-up to that with more details and only 3 years later. This is why this is the best potty in the USA.
That is a classic Tim move. He loves a story in two parts, separated by years of time. My favorite, I'm sure I've mentioned it, that time you helped out at a Yemeni hospital, and that's the story you told me. And then 6 years later, you told me how everybody in that hospital died 4 days after you left. That's the end of the story.
It was longer than that, but yes.
That's the end of the story. Not that you once volunteered at a Yemeni hospital. I mean, very cool if that's how it ended, but it's not. Everyone was massacred.
Yes.
That's the end.
A llama on Avenged Sevenfold. Fun fact, necrophilia isn't actually illegal. There isn't a single U.S. law specifically prohibiting you from adding a body to your body count. But don't get too far ahead of yourself, as you can still be charged with mishandling/abusing a corpse. I won't tell you why I know this, but I will say for my own sake that it wasn't on purpose.
Don't tell us things like that.
Fair enough. I've got a few more, but why don't you go and we'll see.
My first one's by Rockerby 2002. They write, Machine Gun Kelly is trying to turn girls into, quote, sex daughters, end quote.
That's true. That's very true.
Daishore Yujin 95.
See, it's hard. It's hard. Finn. Just go by Finn. We know your name is Finn.
Yeah, that's true. Quit trying to fancy it up with made up words. He simply writes, I'm going to start calling Tim Babe in the emails. Weird, dude.
In.
Hey, beep. I didn't mention that in Tickets to My Downfall, but when he has the conversation with what's her dick?
Hey, babe, I was just thinking about how I didn't know you a year ago, and now we're married.
Yeah, you can stop now.
Just wanted it to sink in. Anyway, my next one's from I'm probably going to have to bleep that. This person wrote, I found the episode. Also, on the topic of heroin and bridges, I preferred McDonald's or Burger King bathrooms back in my day. Burger King was convenient, but McDonald's was cleaner. Oh, the next one, this is amazing. So there's a couple here. First is from somebody who just entitled it, Who Gave a Fuck? Who GAF? Who gives a fuck? Sad face. Oh, and it's on the Bush album. Sad face. I can't believe you guys actually did end the show, and what pisses me off more is that it ended with fucking Bush. They are bad, but it should have been like William Shatner or William Hong album. I don't know, something terrible. I enjoyed this show for years on Spotify, and 2 Tuesdays now in a row, no new episode. Sad face. You guys really fucked me. J-Devil voice.
I hope you came back and listened, because we didn't actually stop. That was
a bit. You should have known that. It's mostly bits, but also not.
None of it's bits. These are all things that happened. The Yemen thing happened, and the forehead carpet burn happened. It's all real. Moved to New York.
Didn't you
for
shove
reals.
a dude in a bush? Isn't that how the carpet burn happened?
Did that thing where he kicked my feet just perfectly.
Yeah.
So.
Same episode, different comment from Jessica. Jessica writes, so long and thanks for all the fish. It was fun while it lasted. I'm guessing Tim got fully initiated into the cowboy sex cult and Garrett is in a fridge in a field in Gary, Indiana. Jessica, we're back. We're fine.
Yeah. And you've commented more, so I think we're
on the same page. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In response to the earlier heroin bathroom preferences, another person wrote, I smuggled about 45 milligram methadone pills into Sweden by dumping out the naproxen I had been prescribed, filling the bottle with the Dones and tucking it into my luggage among other personal effects. I munched face at the baggage claim in Stockholm's Arlanda airport while a mural of ABBA looked on.
I like how you didn't read the name of that guy, because he's a Nazi. Shouldn't give him credit.
Anyway. Oh, right, that dude.
Oh, by the way, that dude, the guy that we're talking about currently, if you're still listening, we don't delete your YouTube comments.
Promise.
I'm pretty sure that YouTube does does something with them, if they're offensive or if they call Garrett a bugman too many times. It's pretty funny, but we don't delete them. We don't care. You can feel free to post racist stuff on the bottom. Don't, ideally, but
it ain't us, man.
I'm not encouraging it.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like it. You did say feel free. Yeah, we don't delete anything. We don't. If you think we have fucking time for that, we barely get this out every Tuesday. Like,
yes, and sometimes we don't.
Sometimes we don't. And we don't have time to moderate your fucking comments. Guess what? We don't care. On the same weird heroin episode, Tim, another person commented, I did a similar thing by dissolving heroin into water and putting it in a tiny vape juice bottle, allegedly, in Minecraft. Guys, stop doing H. Perry says, all right, who keeps deleting the badonkadonk slut comment? Again, Perry, not us. We promise. We're not deleting anything. Alama said, Garrett would make a great aggressive therapist. I couldn't agree more, Llama. If that were a job, if I could somehow bully you into better mental health, I would pursue it aggressively.
I think you could make it a job.
Sort of like bringing the concept of like a sports coach into talk therapy.
Well, you just call yourself a life coach, and then you just you have to do it like the 1997 film The Game. Once that person has signed the contract, they have signed the contract, and you will make them a better person.
Or kill them trying.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to jump off the building eventually. Spoilers.
Yeah, we should watch The Game later.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, not really. But that's okay. All I hear is Static wrote, did I find the feed? Am I a viewer now? No. Absolutely.
Not if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, the feed is not on YouTube. But good try. Keep looking. Find the feed. Alrighty, Tim. I did not write down an email because frankly, I barely got it down to the YouTube comments in time to record this. Do you have an email you'd like to read to take us out on?
I do, Garrett. This is from Sam Mastrati. She was the creator of our podcast art that you can see if you're looking at your phone currently. She can be found at szm.designs on Instagram. She writes, salutations, cowboy and goo boy. It's me, Sam, aka the person who made your podcast art at szm.designs on Instagram. Hope you are both well and remembered to feed Gino today. He's quite hungry. You should probably get to that soon. I'm a longtime listener of the show, having been here since the iconic Florida-Georgia Line and James Buffet episodes. I'm also 1/3 of the previously small band of Rhode Island teens who religiously listened to Why I Hate This Album throughout high school. I think I am the only one who still listens, unsure of that to be honest. I reached out, but am too impatient to wait for them to text back, so as of right now, I am the sole remainder of that group. I fell off the podcast grind a little in college, but now that I am an actual adult with a full-time job, Jesus Christ, this means that she started listening in high school, did a full college degree, and is now employed and still... Okay.
Oof, I feel terrible about myself.
I fell off the podcast grind a little in college, but now that I'm an actual adult with a full-time job, I've worked my way through the episodes I missed. I work as a scenic artist who spends most of her time painting wood to look like other types of wood, so I have a lot of time to listen to your content while I paint. Just wanted to reach out and thank you both for bringing some comedic relief to my workdays. Smiley face. Keep up the good work and keep on creating that extremely extensive Why I Hate This Album lore. Okay, so now the request. Please, I am begging, is how it's written, begging you to do a Young Gravy album. I think that y'all would have fun with Sensational or Gasanova. The earlier Sensational has hits like Gravy for Pope and Whip a Tesla, while the later Gasanova features lyrical genius on songs such as Oops and Yup. As one, a cis woman who actively listens to your podcast, and two, the creator of your podcast art, my vote should weigh more than other measly requests. To sweeten the deal, if you do a Gravy album, I will create some updated podcast art for you guys. I have grown as an artist, and I cringe looking at my old art whenever it pops up on my phone, like Garrett looking back at his high school poetry. The price you'll have to pay is just a quick trip through the Gravy train, and maybe like $5 or something. Also, listen to Myrtle Beach Summer 1974. Please, if not for an episode, just for your suffering. Thank you for making my days a little brighter with your sick, twisted humor. Sincerely, Sam. Couple of things here.
Lots of things.
Lots of things here. One, we will definitely take you up on this Young Gravy thing. I think the sound of Young Gravy is disgusting, and I'm super into it. I assume it's rap.
I have just a touch of experience with Young Gravy. It's an excellent suggestion.
Well, Garrett, I propose we do a prepisode because that's easier next, and then a little Young Gravy.
Or live throwing copper.
We'll get to live throwing copper, but somebody's going to stop listening if we do that. So maybe we put that off for 6 to 8 years. Anyway, point number 2, don't feel bad about the podcast art. It's great. We really like it, but feel free to make us some others. We will do Young Gravy and give you $5 or something. Third, you said you are a part of the trio of Rhode Island teens, so I did a little research. You don't have to get all of them back listening. We want Alan back. I don't care about Kyle, but I want Alan. I want Alan to be a listener, and you tell him I called him Alan because he does not like the name Alan.
Well, it's been like half a decade. He might not give a shit anymore.
Maybe.
He's probably like, nah, I go by Alan now. I'm an adult.
Anyway.
It's a good name for a man.
You're just thinking of Alan Grant.
Dr. Grant, couple more things. Sam, you want to make more than $5? Reach out. We need things designed. And we have money. I have money.
I have no money.
Give you that money. Yeah, Tim has access to my money.
Oh, yeah.
We will give you
Garrett's
money. Yeah, reach out. There's things I want. Don't tell Deborah. What's wrong with Becky? Save your sex for Christ.
We can't make that last one.
Absolutely we can.
No, Garrett, you picture my mom's face when she
It's an
sees
abstinence shirt.
All right, we'll do it.
Listeners, write in hatepodmail@gmail.com or hatepod on Instagram, or the best one, album hatepod on Twitter. Should we make that shirt? Christ sex, yes. # Christ sex, no. I want to hear from you. Don't cop out on this one. Listen to you know who's listening to the last 4 minutes of the 2022 year in review? Like 8 people.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I have all the metrics on when people stop listening. It's sooner than this.
Oh, probably because we talk about the metrics. Listen, you got to listen to the end because I always give one of Garrett's quotes, something he has said previously, and they are delightful.
Yeah, you're really missing out. And sometimes if you listen to the very end, there's a special surprise. Yeah, I want to make sure. Sam, I'm not joking. Like, we need shit designed. So if you want money and you're good at it, let's do that.
Yes, and so don't do the Instagram because Garrett doesn't.
Or just, you can let me know.
I
read every message after you have already read it, just to make sure things are on the up and up.
Smart.
Yeah, I don't want you getting taken advantage of, buddy. Okay, that brings us to the end of the episode. Let's wrap it up quick. As always, hatepodmail@gmail.com. You can go to hatepod.com and click on contact us in the upper left-hand corner if you want to remain anonymous. That's a good way to submit dark secrets. Remember, we've asked for your dark secrets, and you can send them that way with a fake email address. It does require one, but it can be at whatever, maybe at darksecrets.com. And we'll read them here on the show or not. You let us know. Is it just for us or is it for everybody? Either way, it'll remain anonymous, and it's a lot of fun to tell people your dark secrets. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's Album HatePod. Instagram is HatePod. We've got Discord servers. We've got subreddits. You want to look at, talk about, listen to, or get in contact with somebody for this show? It ain't hard. I think that's all the things for Why I Hate This Album. I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and since apparently no one listens to this part, I have no quote from Garrett the Bugman Harvey.
Let's not propagate that.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.